My name is Tish Dittman, and I have two boys, Ben and Bo. Ben is 5 years old, and Bo is 2 years old. Ben attended 2 years of Learning Links, and baby Bo has just started in the 2-year-old early intervention class. 3 years ago, when I was looking for preschools, I knew that my child had a speech delay. As we started looking around for preschools where he could be dropped off, we came across Learning Links, and the makeup of the class was unusual. The classes had 80% neurotypical kids, 20% kids with additional needs, and each class had a general ed teacher, each class had a special ed teacher, each class had aides trained in working with kids with additional needs. And this was an opportunity for my son to be able to be dropped off in a preschool setting, and have had the Learning Links preschool program in our lives for the past 2 years. We've also been able to benefit from in-home support services. We've had EI teachers, early intervention teachers, come to our home once and twice a week, depending on which child we're talking about. We have Community Gate Path speech therapists. We've had Community Gate Path occupational therapists who have both seen my children in the home and at the center. We got accommodations that made him feel like a part of the class. For example, when the class would sit down for circle time, Ben had a hard time sitting on the carpet. He would knock into his peers, he would lay down, he couldn't follow directions. So they gave him a chair, and the teacher sat behind him in a chair to support him. But putting one child in a chair would make him stand out in the crowd. So they gave 10 kids chairs so that he was just another kid in the class. Had certain parts of the curriculum adapted for his needs. He had behavioral charts, he had time charts that kind of let him know where he was going throughout the day, what he was going to be doing next, and he received rewards for appropriate behavior.
As an inclusion preschool, it's really important to have a visual classroom schedule on the wall. Some kids might have individual schedule, but as a whole class, each classroom has a schedule for all the children, so they know what to expect, what's coming up next. And it's a great transition tool for children to kind of know their daily routine. It also helps children with the special needs in the program to have that visual to make sure they're understanding what comes first, what comes next, and how do we end our day. So that's one of the modifications we have for children with special needs, but it turned out to be a great tool for everybody in a preschool setting.
My older son, Ben, was receiving services. His therapies were coming from a lot of different venues, different therapy centers, different therapists, some owning private practices throughout the community. We're all working together to help Ben. It was very important to both my husband and I that our children were involved in an inclusive preschool. I would recommend an inclusive preschool for all parents, all children who are going to be a part of this community. It does teach children to be sympathetic, empathetic, to truly take care of each other. To me, the idea of a full inclusion program is a true interdependence program. When you have children with additional needs mixed in a class structure with typically learning kids from a very early age, it becomes normal. It's no longer that kid. It's no longer that kid with special needs. It's no longer that kid who's a drain on the class. It's just Johnny or just Sarah. It's just another kid in the class.
My name is Manisha Lakhanpal. I have a 5-year-old son who goes to Learning Links. His name is Arjun Parth Sharma. He joined Learning Links about a year and a half, almost a year and a half ago, and I think it's been one of the most fun experiences he's had so far in his toddler years being in Learning Links. An inclusion program didn't really hamper our decision because we weren't thinking about it in those terms. But as Arjun started spending more time in the program, it was one of the teachers here, Miss Betsy, who told us that, just to include him in the whole in school environment and to make him comfortable, she would like to send him to some other classes to work with other children, to be a role model, and sometimes just to make him feel more connected. And we thought, yeah, that should be a good idea. And gradually, the feedback we started getting from Miss Betsy was that Arjun is great with these other kids, and he loves to help them in doing the activities, and they have these tabletop activities which he loves to be a leader with them, which I think this whole idea of including children of all capabilities in one program and letting them interact in different ways, I think it makes everybody whole, because the children who have certain different capabilities than my child, they get to see Arjun, and at the same time Arjun gets to be a little more sensitive about these children without us having to tell him about it. And they grow up to be more responsible citizens and more sensitive citizens. So I think it was a great idea,